All right, we're back, people. It's another episode of the My 26 Cents podcast, and with Kristofer Golbazin. I gotta remember to plug my name. Can't forget that. I'm a little flustered, and the reason why this one's coming out a little bit later is because we had an important event happen, and I was like, I gotta change things up. I gotta push an episode back. Gotta record something here for this because we had some interesting events happen that we need to talk about. Um, which is the shooting that recently just happened at the White House Correspondence Dinner. And I'm sure as you'll see in the thumbnail, it's where it's more of like was it even a shooting? Was it an attempted shooting? What was happening? Was it what are we doing? There's a lot of questions. I think you have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. All of us have a lot of questions. The government might have even though they also might know the answers. Whoa. Um, but I think just in general, the reason why I was like, I need to talk about this, I want to talk about this, and I think all of us should be talking about this, is we've reached a point now where every time or any time something like this happens, the public's initial reaction is, is this even real? Or the initial reaction is, this is a hoax. Or something like, this was set up. This wasn't real. This was fake. That's what we live in right now, guys. That's the state of the world we live in and the state of the country that we live in right now. We see something very serious happen, and we don't even know, and we aren't even able to discern if it's real or if it was staged, if it was a setup, if this was all a ruse right in front of our eyes. That's so bad. It's sad. It's like I don't enjoy this. Like anytime something bad happens, where you just go, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually whatever. We all sound like Alex Jones now. Everyone this whole weekend, the whole White House thing happens, we just go, I don't know, man. So we all sound like Alex, every time there's a little school shooting, which I know like those are legitimate. But some of the ones that involving like the government officials, especially in the last. I mean, here's the thing: in the last, we've not even 2 full calendar years. This is the third event at bare minimum involving like politics or in some sort of way, like in some way, shape, or form. You got the Trump shooting one. I think it was technically like the second one in the Bush, but like that wasn't. We don't really have like any extra information, which that's a whole other thing. The fact we don't have a lot of information on that one, but yeah, you got like the first Trump one with the ear, the photo, hurrah, the picture, whatever the hell. And then you got the Charlie Kirk one, not even a year ago, as of the date of me recording this podcast. And then you have the White House Correspondence Dinner the other day. So it's like we have within not even 2 calendar years, we have 3 events where the initial reaction from the general public is what actually happened. That's a problem. This is not something I think a lot of us saw even just like a few years ago, let alone like 10 to 15 or 20 years ago. I don't know. But it seems more and more normal that all of us are just like, well, I don't know what's going on. Do you? And if you have an answer, like, you better have a good one. You better have a lot of facts to back it up. Because there's a lot of other arguments that can be made about any of these things. Um, I mean, I don't know. Like literally, one of the notes I have down is they nearly shot the president. Dot 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 again. Dot dot dot. Maybe. It's like I don't know. What was even the goal? It was all I don't know, man. The public's first reaction shouldn't be, "Is this staged?" It should not be our initial reaction. It shouldn't be, but it is. You know why? It's because you don't trust them. It's because I don't trust them. Simple as that. It's one word, 5 letters. Trust. Trust. Do you have it? Because I don't. I can't trust these guys to pay me my fucking unemployment money. We all know that story from the Big Gretch, Michigan unemployment, whatever. Took years. Yeah. You guys can't sort that out. You want me to believe everything that you say about something as serious as this? Something as serious as the president or multiple, if not like dozens of politicians' lives being at risk? High-ranking officials, whoever the hell else is at those events, the like correspondence dinner or whatnot. I mean, it's just sad, bro. And it's like, it's not even just like these three. It's like, I mean, these three events in the last couple years are all like recent. They're in our mind, and like that's our first initial reaction. But like, I think a lot of it goes back because it's not like the first time we've had these events involving a president or like highly elected government officials, all that kind of stuff. Or like 9/11, where people are questioning things. But I think always beforehand, what we had is we were like, okay, well, let's leave that aspect of the conversation to the crazies. Let's leave all the conspiracy stuff and the conspiracy theories and the ideas and the quote unquote, like, not 100% concrete evidence. Let's leave that to the crazies. And that's what like was normalized before, right? Now, people call you crazy if you think everything is just happening normal as is. You're a crazy one if you don't think that there's something up, at least potentially. You're crazy if you don't have the mindset of like, well, something could have happened that's like they're playing stuff behind the scenes, pulling strings, orchestrating, playing us all like little puppets. I mean, we all know they do it at least a little bit, to some extent, for anything. Like even we're all being played in some way, shape, or form. But it's stuff like this is just like, man, this is wild, bro. Why are we not caring about this more? Like, why don't the news channels talk about, like, why is it, like, here's the thing. If the government, which they, not if, this literally happened like over a year ago. The government took over TikTok, right? That was like the deal. It's like, if you're gonna get, you have to sell, and we have to be able to just control whatever. That's why for a minute on TikTok, if you type the word Epstein in, nothing would come up. They would get 0 search results. If you type the word Epstein when you were texting somebody or like using the messaging aspect of TikTok, it would not send the message, and you would get a little note saying like, this is offensive or something. So they're using it to control a little bit, but like, how come if this is really a big deal, and you control this little thing that's like more important than the news now, a little social media app, how come every time the first time I open one of these apps, it's not the first thing I see of like, this is what happened, or like, we're on the search, we're on the hunt, if you know any information, we need to learn, or like, every single story should just be about this. No, not a peep. I just get tits and fucking booty when I open up any app. Apps that they control. The government controls our tits and ass. You should know that too. But yeah, I mean, I think I might have even talked about this before. During like one of the podcasts, might have been about the Epstein shit or whatever. But it's like at least when I say we, I mean like people my age, people born like late 90s, or early 2000s. Like around, like we don't have a memory of 9/11, but it happened in our lives technically. Or it was like right after we were born, whatever. The way we were all taught in school, this is 100% real. If you try to go on any sort of tangent about like conspiracy, whatever this, you're gonna get like your grades are fucking bad. Like if you try to talk about in like a government like civics class or like history, it's like no, you're done. That's not part of the conversation. Nada, zilch, zero, none, blank. Isn't that interesting? That now, after all the Epstein stuff, at least I found it very interesting that after all the Epstein stuff, there was a lot of people that I never knew at all, had a lot of thoughts about 9/11. And then all of a sudden they were like, you know what? Like, well, if this is what's going on, I think that was also, something was up there. It's like, whoa, you haven't said anything about this in 20 years. And then now is when you're saying it. Well, what's the reason why you're saying this now? You know why? When you ask one of these people, one of these a little bit older millennials types or something, the answer is like, well, I keep on seeing things that just don't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Yeah, like this shooting doesn't make sense. Oh, all this Epstein stuff, and I'm reading all these emails. Well, if this is what's going on, I always felt a little hunch about that thing in 2001, but I just didn't want to talk about it. It felt weird. I felt ostracized. I felt like, quote unquote, one of the crazies. You were labeled something. You were given a negative label. if you talked about that kind of stuff. If you even thought about that kind of stuff, they would get you to not even think about that. They'd get me, people like me, kids, to not even think about, oh, what might have happened? Who are the powers that be that were involved during 2001 in the attacks? It's just interesting, man. That now all of a sudden, it's like the more and more stuff like this happens, more and more people are speaking up, which I think is good. More and more people are questioning. I think that's great. That's what we need to do. Especially now we're seeing all the AI and the kids like on the phones. They're like not able to think much. No, get them. If they are going to think about anything, if the modern generations, they're going to question anything, if they're going to combat anything, it better be stuff like this. I don't care if they get dumber. I don't care if they get stupider. I don't care if they don't know how to talk. I don't even care if they don't know how to fucking repopulate the planet. If the only thing that they're able to do when it comes to using their free mind is question stuff like this, that is fantastic, in my personal opinion. Although I think you should agree. Man, I don't know. This is where we're gonna go on the Kristofer Golvazin, I guess. I don't know what to call it. I don't want to say tangent. Maybe theory, not dilemma, because it's not quite. Maybe we can call this the White House Correspondence shooting dilemma after this event. And it's only because we've had the other couple in the last two of the three events in the last couple of years or so. So let's say there's two parties here. And I'm not talking political. I'm saying just like the groups of people. There is the elites, people that run the world or whatever the hell. And you don't have to make them political because they play both sides. They pull all the strings. They're involved with everything. Doesn't really matter. You got the elites. That's party number one, or one party. And then the other party is us, the everyday regular people. One of us has an advantage. It's just unclear who right now. And one of us is playing right in front of their eyes. Like they're playing right in front of the other party's eyes. And they're about to be able to pull off what they want to do to the other party. The question right now is who's actually holding the cards. Because right now I don't think any of us know. And, okay, I guess we'll go into a little more detail on this, but basically, when I say let's say it's the elites. The elites argument is pretty simple. If it's them, that's like, they got all the cards or whatever the hell. All it is that they are doing exactly what they want to do right in front of our faces, and if they can get us to literally think that we don't know what is true and what is false, they can literally just do whatever the hell they want. Simple as that. So if this is all just a game to them, they're all just controlling. They're just essentially like, well, we can just fake this event here. We can stage this incident over here. Which every time like something's like faked or staged, like sometimes people actually die, you know? So it's like, it's not like it's all like roses. Like it's a mannequin that's dead. It's like, oh, look at this. No, it's like people are actually being harmed or something. But it's like, yeah, they can just literally, maybe they're just testing the waters. Who knows? Or maybe this is the actual real thing, and then they're just like, look at this. We can do something, and you guys can't tell if it's real or if it's actually fake. We have no idea. Now, the other side of the coin, which I hope this is the one that we're on, but I think it's the one that's more interesting and can lead to more, like, different, like, outcomes, depending on, like, what were to happen next or how we would react. Because we're talking about we the people. We the people might have... Say this is what's been going on. Say almost all of these events, or a good hand... Sorry, not a good hand... good handful of these events that have happened. Whether it's like the shootings the last couple of years. You get any sort of like coup that's been staged elsewhere. Which a lot of times those stories end up coming out. That it's like, okay, that has totally just been like... the elites like playing, and it's like just we're staging stuff in another country, and then it's like, oh well, we're gonna react in a certain way, and then every news outlet across the world writes certain news articles like, oh, this and this happened, and then like 4 years later you're like, well, that revolution was started by like a CIA agent or something, or whatever, CIA of fucking Lithuania, you know, Lithuania A, B, bang bang. But you know, it's the idea that we we might have just seen all these events. Oh, go back to JFK and everything, MLK, all of those 60s civil rights events and whatnot that may or may not have just been a simple person just acting out of anger or whatever theory that they had. No, it could have every single time just been something that the elites were doing. Like, we can control this, we got to do that, we got to stop this movement from advancing too much because we need to be able to control this part of whatever the hell. We might have just been so fed up with this, or just taken enough notes every time this happens, that next time some event like this happens, or next time another event like this happens where the job of covering up isn't as good, maybe there's a little slip up, we're going to actually be able to have something to point towards and all band together on and be like, look, you see this, guys? This is what 100% true, 100% proven as something that has been, like, falsified or staged, or they're trying to trick us. They're trying to play a game with our heads so they can control us. If we're all able to just point at that and be like, haha, this is not real, we could all just come together and then at any point just be like, well, something's got to change. At least I would hope. I would hope that enough of us would be like, all right, if this is what it is, we got to do something here, you know? It's like, I always think anytime something like this let's say something were to happen, there's like a big-ass revolution. It's like, oh, these people are controlling us, and it's like, we figure it out, we got to take them. 100% of the people that are in power, they're not all leaving. It's really just who are they going to sacrifice, or who is able to sacrifice the others first or something, so that they can still keep their power. But all you'd hope is that enough power would come from, like, the bottom all the way up, so we can, like, actually get some change going on, you know? Maybe you don't know. I don't know. Dude, also, I'm just saying, I'm watching the fucking playoff game. Dude, we're down 7 now? I'm watching it's the Detroit Pistons versus the Orlando Magic. I was recording this during halftime, but now it started again, and the Pistons are losing. You know, this might be a psyop, man. I don't know. Maybe they were like, oh, let's get Detroit #1, get the people all happy, get them to spend some money, and then it's like, oh, bang, we've been tanking the whole. No, that's not that. That's not what's been happening there. But I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to believe, man. Like, I mean, we can go back. Let's just go like the one that just happened. We don't really know any information, right? The White House Correspondence shooting. The only things I've seen though is like there's the immediate posts by the president and his team. So it's just like, okay, we have something happen. Let's take a photo of the guy on the ground, and we can, like, blast it on social media. Be like, oh, look at this. We're powerful. We stopped the guy. Grr, yeah. And there's also a bunch of videos of all these old fucks just standing around and just, like, drinking, like, whatever's laying down. Like, oh, there's actually not, like, that much danger? Well, I can slam a couple whiskeys right here. The videos are hilarious. If I was a person in Congress, whoever the hell is at the White House event, it's like, that's what I'm doing. I was like, the second I know there's no danger, I'm like, this is the top of the top event every single year. Or I don't even know, is it every year, or is it every 2 years or something? I think it's every year. Regardless, I'm like, I'm getting my fill. Give me that fucking best in the world, best of class, fucking drinks, whatever the hell. But yeah, it's like, okay, the only thing we know is that, like, the second that anything was happening, the guy's like, whatever, and then now we got pictures online within, like, 20 minutes. Maybe even less. It's like, it's not supposed to, like, no, that's not exactly what's supposed to be going on, you know? Like, it shouldn't, the goal should be, like, within 20 minutes, you should still be worried, like, is there 70 more people that are trying to do this? Or is it just this guy acting alone? Is there a whole team? Is there government involved? Is there this? You shouldn't be posting pics of like, yo, we got them, bang, gang, gang, look at us, we know what we're doing. Ooh, yeah, we kill them all. We catch them all. Oh, yeah. Because then when you do that, you get a lot of people that go, wait a second, is this real? Because I remember last time you got shot, part of your ear grew back or something. You know? Let's go back to Trump shooting #1, numero uno. Yeah, so you have the whole ear thing, which honestly, I'm not too read up on. I was like, I still think it's believable that, like, just enough got nicked where, like, it could bleed, but then, like, it's not cartilage damage or whatever the hell. I'm like, honestly, I think that theory should go out the window. I think people that focus on that, I'm like, that's exactly what they want you to focus on if this is a staged thing. because it's like that's the most. It's the most like obvious looking one. It's like whatever, but I'm like that doesn't change. It's like there's so many other things that need to go like that are involved that like have to happen. Where like that's a very minor detail. Personally I think. Like I think that's just like that's like an icing on the cake thing. It's like hold up guys, if it's staged and that's what happened, why is that the thing you're talking about? Because like a little bit of like red to come out like whatever, like that's just extra, right? It's not. You guys forgetting about all the other steps that need to go, like that are involved if you want to actually pull something like that off, which I'm about to get into. It's like one again for that assassination attempt. Very little talk about it from the media. All of them, right, left, middle, whatever. So you have that, and then the second part, which is always convenient, if every time you have like a high-ranking assassination attempt, what is the best thing for us to do? Especially if we want to stop that from ever happening again, if it isn't from just like one person, not just like a lone radical, it's like maybe it's a group. Because we never know. It's like when something like that happens, like you need let's do an investigation. No, let's just kill the guy right away. Yeah, and let's not kill him actually right away. Let's wait to kill him until after he does the thing. Because we have videos, like 10 minutes of this guy like climbing up on the thing. He's not an athletic dude. It's like we all seen the pictures, whatever the name is. A greasy ass looking fucking acne face. I don't know. We have minutes of this guy climbing up on this little ledge. People are like, what's going on? I think he has a gun, and we're not going to do anything about it until he fires some shots off. We're like, all right, now let's take control of the situation. Shoot him, clock him in the face, or whatever the hell. I know some people talked about it, but like, there's that BlackRock connection. That same kid, Thomas Heath, or whatever the hell. You know where he was when he was like 13, 14? He was in a commercial for BlackRock, the company that literally owns half the world. Isn't that convenient? Oh, the company and the people that own and control half the world just happen to have a guy that was a teenager in their commercials. Right? And then for a couple months or years before the incident, there was phones being tracked that went all the way back to the Pentagon and then to the kid's house. Multiple times. So the people that run the world and control a lot of and have a shit ton of money and control half the world, and then we see this and they go back and forth, and then all of a sudden the kid is dead right after he does one of the like I don't know worst things you could do to somebody or like but of like a national on like a not even national international stage, like the most important prominent person in the world. That's like I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe. And then you got Kirk, dude. Everyone thinks, oh, it was Erica. Some people think, oh, maybe it was Candace. Other people think, oh, no, it was Israel. I have no fucking idea. All I know is it's pretty crazy that none of us are able to be like, I believe it's this. Actually, no, we shouldn't even say believe. It's crazy that none of us are able to just be like, it was this. Like, factually, this is who did it. Because, oh, by the way, the guy that we arrested, or the government arrested for doing the crime, the bullet didn't match. So immediately, if this was a setup, they ran into a problem within a year. Because in court right now, that bullet doesn't match. So how did the guy kill him if the bullet didn't come from the gun? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's a couple videos out there if you want to look up. There's a little microphone that he wore. By he, I mean Charlie. Charlie Kirky. I just bought the Berkey. Yeah, there's a little video where, like, the frame where he passes away, or I don't know if he passed away immediately, but I think it was pretty immediate, within like seconds. But the frame where like the frame where he was penetrated by something, an object or a bullet or whatever, you can see the little like microphone thing he has like on his shirt, just kind of like just really jerks like crazy, especially for an immobile object that's about the size of like a couple quarters. And then there's, like, immediately a couple people that, like, dudes that just run up and they just grab this stuff real quick and put it in their pocket. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is I don't know what to believe. What is even real anymore? Do you know? Because I don't. And I think that's sad. And I think it's scary. I think that's one thing we should tell our children every single day, if you have kids. Or just tell the younger people. Is to be like, look, Turn your brain off for a lot of stuff. There's too much shit in this world. You're going to get overstimulated. If you don't want to question stuff or be curious, honestly, that's fine. It's impossible to learn everything in today's day and age. You get bombarded with information. It's too much. It could be overwhelming. But just tell everybody, especially the ones that are younger, just tell them, don't be a sheep. Question when stuff like this happens. Ask for the truth. And then if they don't give it to you, demand it. Because we need it. And the reason why I say at least, why we need it, is because if we don't get it, eventually someone is going to snap. It's not going to be me. I'll be cheering on the people that snap. For sure. I don't have what it takes. I'm also not I'm tiny as fuck. I'm not going to help much in the fight. But all I'm saying is, just ask yourself and ask others, what is even real anymore? Peace.